to seeing of the British Army out on platoon attacks in camouflage in wide open spaces. But since the government put in strict social distancing guidelines, the Infantry Training Centre has had to adapt to how it trains and looks after their new recruits, as some of their exercises cannot be done at a distance. And this is one example of where the Army can't stick to social distancing guidelines out here on a platoon attack, but the troops are from the same household, making it safer for them to get in close contact with each other.
Lots of training we can do maintaining social distancing of 2 metres, but there are activities that we simply can't do. The way we deal with that is by what we call creating households. So when you first arrive in training here, you will go through what we call a controlled monitoring period of 2 weeks. During that 2 weeks, the recruits and their instructors will stay strictly 2 metres apart at all times, and their bed spaces and their accommodation are double spaced apart. Once we've gone through that period, we believe we've created a household that is as safe as your household at home. They are effectively a 13-person family.
Down! Move!
This platoon attack has been split into 6 groups from 6 households, which means a group who are already living together can break that 2-metre rule. The only other time a soldier will get in contact with a recruit is for safety purposes, and that's the same way of working that takes place on live firing exercises.
Within the kind of the social environment, they are absolutely ordered to maintain those 2-metre spacings. At the moment, with things like ranges, you just can't sacrifice safety for that, and so part of that is that when we're running down the ranges, you have to have a safety supervisor following them. If they have to step in and intervene at some point, then that's obviously required by range safety regulations. So there are reasons to do that. Equally, this afternoon they'll be throwing grenades. For that requires a safety supervisor to be right next to them, checking that they're doing the drills properly and safely, so it doesn't get kind of compromised should something go wrong, which can happen.
After around 9 weeks away, these new recruits are back on the square for drill practice, displaying a clear example of how the 2-metre rule can be adhered to. There's been a number of changes put in place at the barracks so the recruits can stick to social distancing. Those include their living arrangements and how they go out in public.
We've started to allow them out now in small groups to walk down to Tesco, to have a bit of normality, go shopping. Naturally, there's no drinking or anything like that, so it is slightly more difficult for them not to be able to let off steam at a weekend. But we manage that by giving them things to do at the weekend, and they're always in a position where they're relaxed, but they're not just doing nothing at all.
We were originally in 12-men rooms. We're now in 6 men, which is a lot more space for everyone. It's massively better. Obviously, we march in open order now, so keeping that 2-metre rule. Wiping surfaces down after scoff, so once we've eaten, wipe the table down. We have to carry our day sack round with us. So in there, there's bug spray, there's vitamin D, there's a bar of soap. And you have to carry a towel as well. So it's washing hands everywhere you go, washing surfaces down after you've touched them, stuff like that.
These recruits will have to wait until their next midterm break before they can see friends or family members to keep them isolated from civilian populations so they can safely finish their army training. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.